Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on Women's Day. In the World is One News, the only channel with the global perspective. Today, we celebrate International Women's Day, a day which celebrates achievements of women across spheres of life. The occasion is also a time for a conversation around the need for gender parity over the course of the next 30 minutes. We will bring you stories from around the world, which will celebrate various victories of women and reflect on the challenges that lie ahead. Now we begin with Stanzin Duje, who made an award-winning documentary on his sister Tenzin, a shepherdess from Ladakh. She has a large family of 300 sheep and goats who she cares for like her children.
Emma Hong Chagi Nang Jupe Konjo Sum Ke Jong Nam Ne Nam Dak Timamet Dak Song Nam Ne Lur Timati Lur Timati.
My name is Stanzin Dorje, but everybody call me Stanzin Gya because Gya is my village, because I want to know that my village also. In India, you know, like people are really addiction with Bollywood and Hollywood movies, you know, not that much in documentaries, you know. So I made several documentary movies before. So I make like 3 fiction movies also. My sister is still living alone in 4,700 meter high with the sheep and goat. That's how it really inspired me to make a movie on my own real sister. When we always talking about the mountains in the Himalayas, you know, even in our own countries in India, you know, behind the mountain, how the people live there, and then you will get, wow, this is what the mountain culture it is, you know. She is completely alone, and what we call love and compassion in actions, you know, that's what she has, you know. When I'm shooting, when I'm putting my hand on the camera, I deeply feel, you know, wow, that is the woman which is I have like most inspiration from her, you know, which you can see through the movie. Through radio, we learn a lot, you know, because sometimes when radio goes off, sometimes we don't have batteries for the radio, so we feel that we lost somebody from our house. Living in this mountain is very difficult also. You will not get everyday regular water also. You have to break the ice and you have to cook from that water also. She is 58 years old and she never ever gets sick till now, you know. That not only the physical fitness and how she is mentally so strong, you know. I want to do something more in Ladakh. That's why we have another program called Living in the Village, Not Left the Village. All the village, I ask each woman to make one socks. I sell these socks, you know. This is coming from this wool and you buy, so they buy easily these socks. And because of that, how we help all the women in the village. Not only the physical, you know, the mental, what mountain people have it in Ladakh, you know. That's why this is not only one film. I already done like 7 movies from Ladakh. She's been with me in Paris and all the Europe. She's saying, what do you miss most, you know? And she's saying, I miss most the mountains, you know?
Now, gone are the days when the motorcycle diaries were being written by testosterone-driven men. This 30-year-old Limca national record holder is a biker with a difference. Naturally, there is much excitement on the roads.
Across the world, motorcycles are seen to be testosterone-driven, men and their machines. Where does then a lipstick-loving young woman fit in this cult of masculinity? Sonia Jain, a 30-year-old Delhi-based woman, has the perfect answer. Making roads her home, she now has a national record to her credit. Jain is the first woman to ride 100 different models of motorcycles. Jain's parents had denied their daughter a motorcycle out of concern for her safety. But this woman knows her bikes.
This is an 800cc Tiger. You can adjust the steering as well. This is an off-roader, so you get the hand mask as well because you're riding. And the sleeker the forks are, the sharper it will turn. It looks intimidating, right? It's heavy, it's bulky, it's big. It's a complete package. It has everything.
As a licensed instructor, Jain has trained many women in riding motorcycles, thereby diversifying India's riding scene. While Jain and other women riders are claiming their space on roads, they remain an object of curiosity for most. Battling sexism has become a habit with Jain, yet she says it's important to sometimes forget one's womanhood while on the road. Women account for less than 10% of the total number of driving license holders in the country. Isn't it then heartwarming when some of them decide to rewrite the rules of the road, tackling prejudices one at a time? They have miles to go before they sleep, miles to go before they sleep. Nisha Gautam, New Delhi, WION.
And our 20-year-old Sarigam Khan's name spells music. What sets her apart from other women musicians is that her music challenges gender-defined boundaries. Meet this young tabla player who is claiming a niche for herself in the largely masculine world of percussion instruments.
Percussion instruments, Indian or Western, have traditionally been associated with male musicians. Of late, however, there is a new beat in the melody. Women are beginning to make their presence felt in this deeply gendered niche in the world of music. Today we are joined by a young musician who plays tabla. Please welcome the 21-year-old Sarigam Khan.
जब मैं डीयू में आई, ये जो सब्जेक्ट था तबला, ये इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं हुआ था डीयू में। मेरा पहला बैच था, ये बचपन से ही था मुझे इंटरेस्ट तबले में। 12th में जब मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी काफ़ी मिली, तब मुझे कहीं ना कहीं कहते कॉन्फिडेंस में अब बूस्टअप हुआ कि मुझे इसी में ही करना चाहिए कुछ ना कुछ, एंड मुझे इसी में ही अपना करियर बनाना है।
परिवार से कितना सपोर्ट मिला है इस आपके निर्णय को?
बहुत 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 सपोर्ट किया है, मेरे पेरेंट्स ने बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट किया है। बहुत से लोगों ने कहा था उन्हें कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं तबले में, क्या करेगी लड़की। कोई ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं किया इस चीज़ को लेके। बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट मुझे मिला। मैं अपनी क्लास की एक अकेली लड़की हूँ, मेरी क्लास में कोई लड़की है नहीं, सारे लड़के हैं। तो तब भी मेरे मन में ऐसा कोई ख्याल नहीं आ रहा कि मैं कैसे करूँगी ये चीज़। तबला चाहे लड़का बजाए चाहे लड़की बजाए, तबला सिर्फ एक चीज़ मांगती है, वो है रियाज़ आपका। 12th में मुझे चूज़ किया गया कि मैं इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करूं, एंड मुझे कनाडा भेजा गया क्योंकि मैं ही एक अकेली लड़की थी जो गई थी इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए तबले में। अवेयरनेस फैलानी पड़ेगी कि आप कर सकते हो, आप बजा सकते हो। एक उस्ताद फैयाज़ खान साहब हैं, उस्ताद जाकिर हुसैन हैं, रिम्पा शिवा हैं। एक इच्छा ये भी है कि एक बार उनके साथ कभी संगत करने को या कभी उनके साथ डुएट बजाने को मौका मिले। फेवरेट ताल तो अगर कहें तो मुझे 3 ताल बहुत पसंद है.
As we continue with the stories of women who are breaking new grounds for other women. This one is when a woman was raped as a child and harassed for giving birth to 5 daughters. 52-year-old Rihanna Deeb runs a women's rights NGO in Muzaffarnagar. WION spends a day with her to find out how she spreads the message of gender equality in the politically and communally charged district of Uttar Pradesh.
It's a regular morning at Rihanna Adeeb's NGO in Muzaffarnagar. The workers have a long day ahead. Soon they'll set out to get signatures for a petition on domestic violence, knowing that they'll be driven away from most houses. 52-year-old Rihanna runs a women's rights NGO called Astitva in this politically and communally volatile district of western Uttar Pradesh.
We work towards making women aware of government policies. Women here don't know what their constitutional rights are. We educate them in that domain. We help women in getting legal aid. Astitva has a right-centric approach. Our work is more like a movement, a struggle. Our agenda is to stop violence against women and do away with gender inequality.
Activism was not Rihanna's first choice. She was raped when she was 5 and married off before she turned 18. The birth of her 5 daughters led to harassment from those around. She says that all this made her take up the struggle to carve out her identity in an orthodox Muslim family.
I have been subjected to all kinds of violence, including sexual violence. I learned about feminism after coming in contact with different women's movements. I learned from the leaders of these movements. I read about feminism. That's how I became an activist.
However, calling for women's rights in a region where Hindus and Muslims are at loggerheads most of the times can be a daunting task. Religious bodies are a direct authority in many areas and threats from them are frequent.
There is Deoband on one side and Haridwar on the other. So even the religious bodies have a great control. They keep sending fatwas against women. In the last 5 years, groups like Bajrang Dal have become stronger in the area. They beat up boys and girls on Valentine's Day.
Rihanna says that in the midst of the political and communal tension in Muzaffarnagar, it's the women who suffer. Their issues take a back seat. During the 2013 Muzaffarnagar riots, Rihanna's NGO was instrumental in calling for police action against crimes perpetrated on women. Today, they await sentencing on 7 cases of rape. Reshma was one of the many girls who trafficked from West Bengal and Bihar into the district to marry men much older than them. Her husband died, leaving behind the mother of 6 in the midst of a property dispute. Helped by Rihanna, she now volunteers for Astitva and earns her own living.
I was beaten up by my husband's family. Someone asked me to approach Rihanna. She helped me with the court case.
Men like Arpit have now joined Rihanna in working for women's rights. Sensitizing other men is a part of their job.
People in the village pass comments at me. They disregard my work and say it's not a fitting job. They say women shouldn't run households.
Being a women's rights activist in Western UP is not that easy. It records the highest rates of crimes against women, and many of the villages here are under the control of the Khap and caste panchayats, which are known to be patriarchal. Shunning the tags of a rape survivor and a woman from a minority community, Rihanna Adeeb is fighting the odds to help women of this region become strong and empowered individuals. In Muzaffarnagar with video journalist Shekhar, this is Dharvi Vaid for WION.
Talk about courageous women. Well, more inspiring stories will follow after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us as we continue to celebrate women all around the world. Dastakwan is an all-women-run canteen which started with an aim to empower underprivileged women of the neighborhood and has now become an economic empowerment story. Watch these women from low-income earning backgrounds tell us their stories of hope and change.
This is the main campus of Jamia Millia Islamia, one of the largest universities in the country. Besides giving quality education, the Central University is also well known for Dastarkhan, a canteen that operates out of the main campus. It is not just the food that has the people talking, but Dastarkhan is a canteen being run exclusively by women and is operated by Ekta Self-Help Group with an aim to help the underprivileged women.
जब हम आए थे तो सबसे पहले तो पैसे की परेशानी थी कि लेडीज़ कहाँ से लाएं.
We faced a lot of problems in the start, right from funds to getting the workforce. Even women who work here initially faced problems at home, with their husbands stopping them from coming here. When we started, men used to pass comments as they couldn't see that girls are walking out of their homes and earning. Some girls were even threatened at the start, but all this has improved now.
लड़की है और जैसे अक्सर धमकी भी मिलती है, चला बाहर देखते हैं.
The canteen is home to almost 35 women who make Dastarkhan an economic empowerment story. Ishrat is one such woman who works at Dastarkhan. She lives in the neighborhood with her family. Ishrat's earnings from Dastarkhan contributes towards supporting her household. Working at Dastarkhan has empowered Ishrat. Happy with her job, she cannot stop thanking her stars.
मुझे 2 साल हो गए, मैं 2 साल से यहाँ जॉब कर रहे हैं हमने. जिस दिन से खुला उस दिन से मैं यहाँ यहीं कर रही हूँ.
I've been working here since the canteen started 2 years ago, and I'm thankful to God that I've been able to finance the education of my kids with the money I earn here. I have 2 girls and 1 boy, and my husband delivers drinking water to affluent homes. I love working at Dastarkhan and come in every day at 6 in the morning. When we started, we were just 4 women, and we used to run the canteen, but now have grown to 40 women. I will never leave this canteen.
इसको तो नहीं छोड़ेंगे, इसको नहीं छोड़ेंगे. जब तक जिंदगी रहेगी यहाँ आएंगे.
Underprivileged women from every religious background work at the canteen. An attempt by Shabana and team to strengthen its bond with the neighborhood and to increasingly educate gender sensitization.
क्योंकि मेरे भी माँ बाप नहीं है तो बचपन से ही मुसलमानों में बड़ी पली हूँ मैं. मुझे मुसलमानों ने बड़ी करी.
I'm an orphan and I have always lived in a Muslim locality. I have been raised by a Muslim family and they even arranged for my marriage.
जैसे कि ये है कि घर के दोनों मियाँ बीवी कमा रहे तो हमारा घर.
I worked at Dastarkhan as it makes me financially stable. Also, it is better when both the partners earn. We use my husband's earning to run the house, while my earnings go into the savings.
This noble initiative is an attempt to promote gender awareness. Shabana and Jamia University officials hope other institutions also come forward and contribute to the larger mission of changing the socio-economic landscape of their surroundings. Zeba Khan for WION.
What is celebration without laughter? Comedy knows no gender. Indian comedian Radhika Vaz shares what it's like being one of the few female Indian stand-up comedians on International Women's Day. Radhika does not mince words as a feminist.
Feminism is... I think people think women aren't as funny for some reason, and here's why. It's because we've not been allowed to be funny. Because see, the definition of funny is when you go out there to be funny, you are taking a risk. Now, if I tell you I'm going to make you laugh, I am up for a challenge at this point, right? And I could say something that bombs completely. It's a risk I'm taking at the end of the day. And I think that women are very risk averse because we've been told to be risk averse. We've been told to play it very safe in every way. Women are usually told to be quiet, not make a scene. Comedy is the opposite, man. It's make a scene, be loud, make a fool of yourself, show your flaws because that's funnier. We women are told to hide our flaws. Like you see a girl, who's not the correct skin color, she's made to hide that. Girl without the correct hair length, hide that. Girl without the correct body structure, hide that. we're hiding something all day long. And so with comedy, it's not about hiding, it's about completely showing yourself. And so yeah, I can see why it's hard for women to consider it. Feminism is, it's basically just seeing both genders as completely equal. It's a very, very hard thing to do, even if you call yourself a feminist. I think that a feminist would check herself every time she spoke, actually, and would be checking herself to see where the subversive sexism exists and keep trying to clear it out of your own system. So it's very easy for me to make a lot of jokes and to write stuff, and I'm always thinking about it, yes. But at the end of the day, I have to change how I really deeply think. And it's hard to do that because I've been raised with certain terms and conditions, if you will. I think all of us have to individually look at what feminism means to us and keep chipping away at it and really thinking about it. It's a state of mind. It's not some organization that we all have membership to. The one change I have noticed, actually, this is interesting. The one change I have noticed since I started performing here is I think a lot of the women comedians are no longer looking at their personal stories as something they can't use in comedy. Because I think what happens a lot that don't talk about your marital problems and don't talk about sex and don't talk about your period and don't talk about menopause and don't talk about So what do? Make jokes about dogs and plants? That's so much fun. All the guys are already doing it. Thanks, no. But I think that over the last few years I have noticed that women comedians are moving away from that a little bit, and they are moving into their own stories, their own issues, and making comedy specifically from that place, rather than trying to be a comedian who pleases everybody and sounds like one of the guys. If I walk into the average corporate show in Delhi, which happens to have 90% men, 10% women, of which 2 of those girls are support staff who don't really get, who actually handle the whole show but don't get any credit for it, and then the other 7 or 8 women, they are those guys like whoever brought his wife kind of thing. Okay, maybe 3 more work there and then the remaining are wives. It's not going to go well for me, because I'm talking about female truths, and those middle-aged dudes they're married, they have kids, they still don't understand anything about what's going on with a woman. So yeah, they're not going to find it funny because I'm telling them that they're, that they're f***ing us wrong, for example. Like, I'm like, you guys don't know what you're doing at all. And they're like, huh? So what are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about? My wife loves me. It's like, yeah, that's what she says. You just have to do what you want to do, and you will have a lot of opposition for it. And the more opposition means you are probably on the right track. I think that's what we have to remember.
Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Be sure to watch more news update on WION. From all of us, happy Women's Day.